And accountability in Liberia. So today, the executive director of CENTAL will be addressing the public through you regarding trending national issues. So, Mr. Miamen, members of the protested, be ready and waiting.
Thank you, Sam. Welcome to the offices of CENTAL, our media colleagues. We're glad to have you here once again. We have a statement that we will be releasing to the public. After reading it, if you have questions, we can entertain them. At least five, at most five, rather. Press statement for immediate release. CENTAL welcomes resignations of 3 sanctioned public officials, calls for further investigation and speedy prosecution of the accused. Monroeville, Tuesday, September 13, 2022. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, fellow Liberians. On yesterday, September 12, 2022, the Executive Mansion, the office of the Liberian Presidency, accepted and announced the respective resignations of the 3 suspended public officials who were recently designated by the United States government for their involvement in significant public corruption. Among others, they are said to have undermined democracy in Liberia for their personal benefits through corruption, including the misappropriation of state assets, the expropriation of private assets for personal gain, and corruption related to the extraction of natural resources. The 3 officials include Mr. Nathaniel F. Magee, former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Mr. Bill Twawe, former Managing Director of the National Port Authority, MPA, and Councillor Seaman Serena Cephas, former Solicitor General. The Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia welcomes the resignations of the 3 officials of the Liberian government and call on them to declare their assets, incomes, and liabilities as they exit government. This is in line with Part 10 of the Code of Conduct for Public Officials that requires them to declare their assets, incomes, and liabilities while entering government, upon being promoted, and upon leaving government. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission must legally ensure that they fully comply with this provision of the Code of Conduct, which is an important anti-corruption and accountability instrument. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, in our reaction to the action of the U.S. government to sanction the 3 ranking officials of the CDC-led government on August 15, 2022, we called on President Weah to dismiss the sanctioned officials who were internationally found wanting in integrity to redeem the image of the government. However, he failed to do so in further demonstration of the lack of political will to adequately tackle corruption, no matter by whom it is practiced. We, however, welcome the resignations tendered in by the former officials themselves, possibly after a period of reflection and having realized that their disposition and statuses are incompatible with public office. Notwithstanding, we reiterate call for the President to immediately commission a full-scale, impartial, and independent investigation into the alleged public corruption practiced by the trio in their former capacities. Their immediate investigation and prosecution will somehow signal a revival of the President's weak stance against corruption. Also, it will boost different efforts being exerted by stakeholders in the international community, including the United States government in the anti-corruption space, and give the needed push for full compliance and adherence to the rule of law and the principles of democracy and good governance. That's integrity, accountability, transparency, justice, etc. As you may recall, following the designations by the U.S. government On Tuesday, August 16, 2022, the president suspended the concerned officials with immediate effect to enable them to face investigation. The statement conveying the decision, however, made no mention of the forum to investigate the matter. This is particularly confusing considering that the president had less than a month prior signed into law a bill that dismantled the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, creating a successor commission that may not get afloat anytime soon. Given the prevailing circumstances at the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission and the grave nature of the offenses these officials are said to have perpetrated, we recommend that the President Weah establishes an independent panel or committee to investigate these troubling allegations. Moreover, the Ministry of Justice must be instructed to work closely with the panel following its investigations to have the former officials prosecuted if probable cause is established. Furthermore, CENTAL calls on the U.S. government and the international community to mount the necessary diplomatic pressure on the Weah-led government to ensure the immediate prosecution of the sanctioned officials and all those recommended to the Ministry of Justice in the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission's investigative report. The LACC's investigative report covered different corruption scandals and incidences largely involving high-ranking officials of the CDC-led government. Additionally, we call on the Liberian people to stand up and demand accountability of their leaders, as this will help to give the international community the necessary motivation to continue supporting integrity building and anti-corruption efforts in the country. Finally, CENTAL wishes to inform the public about her commitment to meaningfully contributing to anti-corruption and integrity building efforts in Liberia, working collaboratively with other stakeholders and partners. Thank you.
All right, you listened to the reading of the press statement, so now to take questions, if there are any. Do we have questions? Okay.
Yes, not.
Thanks so much for attending, and that ends the press conference for the day.